Get comfortable, close your eyes. And today let's start with taking 3 deep breaths on our own. And then just paying attention to where you're at today. Perhaps starting with your physical body and noticing anything occurring or happening in your body, any sensations, any pain or tension. Noticing if maybe it's the usual places where perhaps you're feeling the pain and tension, or if new places have cropped up since the last time we saw each other. Just noticing, perhaps bringing some breath into those areas, setting a little intention to let go of the stress in those areas. Perhaps today with our yoga practice or with our breath, just allowing ourselves to let go of any of those painful sensations that might be occurring. And then perhaps bringing our attention to our feelings and noticing both the uncomfortable and the comfortable emotions flowing through you right now. Just noticing your emotional landscape. And also intentionally noticing if there's any sort of pleasant feelings occurring as well, like joy or happiness or comfort, and really tune into those as well, giving them equal amount of attention, if not more. The more painful or irritating feelings tend to take center stage often, and we don't spend a lot of time breathing into the pleasant feelings, so it's always good to really pay attention to those as well. And then perhaps shifting to our mental landscape, noticing the texture of our thoughts and what's happening. Is our mind busy or calm? Is it troubled with worry or feeling confident? What's the tone of your thoughts? And again, we're not trying to change anything. We're just noticing and being aware. Always a good practice just to notice what's happening in our mind. A lot of times we're on autopilot with our thoughts and we don't notice what's happening. And then coming back to our breath and taking those 3 deep breaths before coming back to the room, just on your own, filling your whole body with air. And then releasing whatever no longer serves you, whatever you're ready to let go of. And then when you're ready, coming back to the room, joining me back here on your mat. And we're going to start with our warm-ups. So again, let's start with our shoulder rolls. So just breathing in, shrugging up, and rolling back. I noticed my shoulders were pretty tight after Monday, so I thought we would add some shoulder rolls in this time. They're always a good one for releasing tension. And then reversing directions, breathing in and rolling forward. Again, breathing in on the shrug and out on the roll. And then coming back to neutral, let's do our shoulder up and down. So one shoulder comes up and the other goes down, and then switching. And for an even deeper stretch, you can put your opposite hand down, the one that's going down, and kind of push into the floor. And then switch. Just stretching out, counter stretch with our shoulders, warming them up a bit. Not overdoing it, especially if your shoulders are a bit sore. Alright, and then coming back to neutral, our seated cat-cow with our open and closed arms. So as we breathe in, we stretch our arms back, opening up our chest and looking up at the ceiling. And as we breathe out, we roll back and bring our hands forward like we're grabbing a giant beach ball. And then as we breathe in, we open up and look up. And then as we breathe out, we come back forward, rolling our backs, looking down at our lap. And then doing that a few more times on your own. This is a really great exercise if you're sitting at the computer and you have maybe like a couple minute break. You can just do a couple rounds of these. Really helps kind of release that tension in the moment. So something to try while you're working. All right, and then coming back to neutral, and we'll do our side to sides. So planting your right hand down next to you, breathing in, lifting your left arm up and over, and then coming back to neutral and switching sides. Your right arm comes up and over, and switching sides. Continue with a few more on each side. And a nice big stretch in that side body as you come over to the side. And then coming back to neutral, let's do our side twist. So your left hand coming to your right knee, sitting up tall, and as you breathe out, twisting towards the right side of the room. And perhaps noticing something interesting as you hold the pose, something interesting on this right side of the room. Breathing into the twist. Again, we're just warming up, so don't overdo it. Just warming up our torso and our spine and our hips. Then coming back to neutral. Right hand goes to left leg. As you're breathing out, twisting to the left. Sitting up tall. Perhaps finding something interesting on this side of the room. Maybe something you've never noticed before. As we breathe and hold. And then coming back to neutral. All right, coming into our tabletop position. Today we're going to do the opposite, the extended tabletop. So make sure your wrists are below your shoulders, your knees are below your hips. And for this one, we extend one leg and our opposite arm. So like you extend your left leg and your right arm and hold there for a moment. And then you come back down to neutral and you switch sides. And hold for a breath. And then come to neutral and switch sides. Just nice, soft, slow, fluid movements. Switching sides whenever you finish your breath cycle. One more on each side. And then coming back to neutral. Let's walk our hands forward a little bit, curl our toes under, come into our first downward facing dog. Again, our first downward facing dog might feel a little bit tight in the back of our legs, but we're reaching our bottom towards the sky, pulling our belly button up towards our back, slight bend in the knees, shoulders down and back, head relaxed towards the mat. Just holding here for a few breaths. You can bend each knee, kind of walking your dog a little bit in place. And then with a breath in, raise your right leg behind you for three-legged dog. And as you breathe out, swing it through in between your hands for low lunge. And just pausing here for a moment. Again, warming up that front side of your left leg. Perhaps bringing some heat to your right quad. You can move forward and back in the position just to increase the stretch or the warmth. Breathing with your movement, trying to make it as fluid as possible. And then planting your hands and stepping that foot back into your downward facing dog again, and then this time lifting your left leg up behind you for a three-legged dog, and then sweeping it down and through for low lunge on this side. Again, same forward and backward motion, warming up our hips, the front of our legs. And then this time with our out breath, we're going to rise up a little bit and just step our back leg through so both feet are in between our hands for forward fold. And just coming into a comfortable forward fold, bending your knees if you have to. Actually, I recommend bending your knees. And hopefully feeling the stretch down the back of your legs. And then with a breath in, we're going to rise up into our mountain pose. All right. We're going to start with our chair pose today. In Sanskrit, it's Utkatasana. For those of you who are learning Sanskrit. So your feet are hip width apart. And your hands can be at your heart, or they can come up by your ears. And as you breathe in and then breathe out, you come down into a comfortable chair position, like you're sitting in a chair that's not there. Bringing your belly button towards your back really helps with the stability. Again, you can bring your hands to heart center, focusing on a spot in front of you. And then with a breath in, we can come back up and shake it out a little bit. And let's do one more of those. So again, feet hip width distance apart, hands to heart center or by your ears, and then breath in, and as you breathe out, sitting back. And just holding there, just for a few breaths. And if your mind says you can't do it, you know it's wrong, because you can. You did it on Monday. So you can say, yes, I can do this. Even if you didn't do it on Monday, you can still do it, because we can do hard things, and we know that. All right, coming back up to standing mountain, we'll do our warrior flow. So we can start at the top of our mat. Our left leg will be planted strong, and we'll reach our left leg behind us for warrior one. The back leg is at about a 45-degree angle to the room, to the front of the room, or kind of angled towards the top left corner of your mat. The front leg is bent. Hips are facing forward. And we get comfortable and set in our warrior one hip posture. And then as we breathe in, we can raise our arms up so they're near our ears. And if you would like, you can arch slightly back and look up at the ceiling for a little back bend. But I'm going to stay right here in warrior one. And I'm going to breathe through any uncomfortable sensations, as long as they're not painful. Again, knowing that I can do hard things. We've done hard things for the last month, so we can do this. All right, opening up into warrior two. Perhaps sliding your back leg back a bit, making it your foot parallel to the back of your mat. Again, the front foot facing forward, front knee bent. Hips this time are facing the wall. As we breathe in, we raise our arms up. Shoulders still down and back. Our head pulling up towards the ceiling, looking out over our right fingers. And settling in to our breath as we hold. You can stay here. This is a great place to be. Or you can move into extended side angle. So your front hand pulls forward from the hips and comes down to rest on your bent knee. And your back arm begins to move across. So that's hovering just above your ear. And if you want the extra chest opener, you can also wrap it back behind your back. And that just helps open up your shoulders a bit more. And again, breathing through any sensations, any tension that we're just ready to let go of on this Wednesday. Then releasing out of that through Warrior Two. We're going to face both of our feet the same direction. We're going to take a big breath in and raise our hands up. And then with a flat back, we're going to fold forward, resting our hands either on the floor or out at our ankles or legs. Bring our belly button towards our back. Just for a few breaths here in this forward fold. You can release your head down. And then begin to walk your hands towards your right foot. And as you do, turn your right foot towards the front of the room. And your back foot should follow. And then you're going to step your back foot forward for a brief forward fold. And then as you breathe in, you're going to come up to standing mountain pose. All right, now we're going to do the other side. So this time we're going to step back with our right foot. So our left foot is planted in the ground. And we're going to step back with our right foot just a little bit for Warrior One. Again, that back foot is about 45 degrees towards the front of the room. And your front foot is forward with your knee bent. Hips are facing forward. And as you breathe in, you bring your arms up near your ears. And if you'd like to enter that slight back bend looking up at the ceiling on this side, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to stay here and without the back bend, but it's totally up to you. Maybe you're noticing a difference on this side as opposed to the other side, and that's perfectly normal. We have stronger sides and weaker sides. All right, opening up to Warrior Two on this side, stepping back maybe a bit. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Front foot is forward. Again, the knee is bent. Hips come out to the side. Breathing in, we bring our arms up. Shoulders down and back. Looking out over our left hand. Finding our grace in this warrior two pose, finding our strength, knowing that we can persevere, that we are strong, and really pretty amazing warriors. I commend you all for being amazing warriors. All right, you can stay here or go into extended side angle on this side. Again, your front hand pulls your whole torso forward from the hips and gently comes down to your bent knee, and your back arm comes up and over, or it wraps around for that shoulder opener on this side. Wherever you want to be today is perfectly fine. Again, tuning into your body and asking it what it needs today. Maybe it needs a shoulder opener. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it needs a side stretch. Maybe it doesn't want yoga at all, and then you can just lay on your mat. The point is you're listening to your body and paying attention to it, doing what it needs, not necessarily what you want it to do. All right, twisting back out of that through warrior two, facing both feet the same direction, that flat back forward fold on this side, breathing in, bringing your arms up to the side, and then flat back folding forward, bringing your hands to the ground or to the outside of your legs, whatever is in your practice today. Releasing your head down. And then walking your hands to your left foot and bringing it forward as you go, and then your back foot should follow, and then stepping forward. Breathe forward, fold here, and then as you breathe in, you come up to your mountain pose. Nice job. All right, I saved eagle for last this time, so we will go into eagle on both sides for our balance practice. So you can shake out any extra energy that you have. And we're going to start on our left foot. So our left foot is going to plant into the ground real strong. And we can bring our right leg up into our stork pose. And then as we bring it down, we bring it either over high or kickstand to the side of our other foot. And then breathing in, we bring our arms up and we cross them over ourselves in a big hug. And then staying here is always an option, or if you would like the extra hip stretch, as you breathe out, you can crouch down like you are perching your eagle on a tree. Remember, we're sitting down and back to take the pressure off of our bent knee. You can bring your arms up too if you want a little extra arm stretch, bringing your elbows up towards your mouth. Just posing here for a moment, breathing into that hip, the back of your hip that's opening. So necessary when we've sat for long periods of time to release that tension. Hugging in, giving ourselves that love. And then coming back up and switching sides. can shake out that left leg if you need to before switching sides. Then our right leg is going to get really strong, and we'll bring our left leg up for our standing stork position. Breathing and getting our balance. And then as you breathe out, coming into your eagle legs, either kickstanding next to you or bringing your leg higher. Some people can even wrap their foot around their back leg. So if that's in your practice, go for it. And then trying to switch your arm positions this time. So it's usually the one that feels awkward. Yeah. I always have to try it out. Yeah, okay. And then when you're ready, you can crouch down, perching on your branch, bringing your elbows up towards your face will allow the upper part of your back to open. And again, noticing any difference between the sides. And if you're feeling any tension in that back side of your hip, just allowing it to be there, breathing into it, not resisting it. Resisting will make it stay longer. You just want to accept it and breathe and hopefully allow it to go. As with any pain or tension in our bodies or our emotions. All right, coming back up out of our eagle pose. Nice job. All right. We are going to come to the top of our mat. Take a big deep breath in, raise our arms up. And as we breathe out, fold forward, pausing here for a moment. And then stepping back, knees come to the mat for table top position. We're going to do a bit of our core work here. You can stay in tabletop if you would like. Or you can begin to tuck under and bring your knee to your nose. Again, I said I can't reach my knee to my nose, but you know your intention is to bring it towards your nose. So wherever you're at, bringing your knee in towards your nose. Switching sides. Going as slow or as fast as you and then coming back to neutral, we're going to put our big toes together and spread our knees out a little bit wider. Settle our bottom back towards our heels. Your arms can come out forward, resting your forehead on the mat for child's pose. We'll be here for 2 or 3 breaths. And then walking our hands back, swinging our legs out behind us, coming to our bottom. One last core pose, our boat pose. So again, wherever you're at with boat pose, you can start with your knees bent and your feet on the ground, and your arms behind you. Shoulders rounded back. You can stay here. You can just lift your arms forward, or you can bring one leg off the ground, both legs off the ground, balancing the midpoint of your bottom, trying not to cave back onto your sacrum. That's the word, sacrum. But just trying to finding that balance point just for a little bit, coming in and out as necessary, and then coming back to your seated position, feet together in front of you for butterfly pose. I gotta catch my breath. Oh, my core. All right, you're all welcome for that. All right, so we're gonna have our hands in front of us. Again, belly button, bring that belly button towards your spine, and just start walking your hands out forward, just as far as your hips and your low back will allow. It's kind of a bound angle forward fold. Perhaps noticing any tension release as you breathe into this pose. All right, coming back up. Stretching your left leg out in front of you. Your right leg is bent and comes over your left leg. As you breathe in, you can squeeze, you can hug that bent knee towards you. And just pause here for a moment. And then if you would like to add the twist, you can keep your left arm hugging that knee, bringing your right arm behind you and twisting towards the right side of the room. The more you hug that knee towards you, the more hip opening you'll get in the back. But again, just do what your body needs. And then releasing forward, releasing your right leg out straight, your left leg comes over, starting by hugging that leg towards your chest for a couple breaths. And then keeping, if you would like to come into the twist, keeping your right arm hugging your left leg, bringing your left arm behind you and twisting gently to the left side of the room. I can hear my kids playing outside again. I hear there's a huge snowstorm coming, so I say let them play outside while they can. Oh my goodness, this is a crazy spring. Of all years to have a crazy spring, right? All right, coming back to center. Let's see. Let's come onto our back. I'm going to rotate around so you can hear me better. Bending your knees, bringing your feet flat to the ground, just starting to roll back slowly onto your back. All right. Coming into bridge pose, if you brought your block or your book, you can do the restorative bridge pose where you place the block or book or whatever prop you have under your bottom, and you can just rest there. Otherwise, you can just come into regular bridge pose. So walking your feet back towards your hands and your hands towards your feet. Again, they don't have to touch, just getting them close, rolling your shoulders back flat against the ground. And then with the breath in, you're going to lift your hips up off the ground as high as they want to go. And just hold there for a few moments. Breathing, stretching, releasing, whatever needs to happen. Then bringing your hips back down, maybe windshield wipering your legs back and forth, releasing a little bit of that. And then coming back to neutral position here, we're going to do legs up the wall. If you are in a room where you can put your legs up against the wall, you can reposition yourself up against the wall and actually probably stay in legs up the wall quite a long period of time, even for Shavasana. If you don't have a wall nearby, like I don't necessarily, you can just bring your legs up as if there were an imaginary wall and just hold them there. Now this one might be harder to hold for a longer period of time, but there's still a lot of benefits to doing legs up the wall. And in fact, if you're having trouble sleeping, this is one of the best yoga poses you can do before bed. I would recommend, if you do it before bed, doing it against a wall, finding a wall in your house that you can rest your legs against, just in this posture. Especially, I say this a lot, especially if you've sat for a while, really getting that blood flow back from your feet into your internal organs is really important. So that bridge pose we just did and legs up the wall are all really good for that. So just keeping that in mind. They're both super relaxing poses. And also feeding your internal organs. All right. If you did reposition yourself up against the wall and would like to stay there for Shavasana, you are more than welcome to. If not, you can come down into your regular Shavasana pose with your legs stretched out in front of you, your feet falling out to the side, your arms relaxing at your side. Just bringing some breath back into those places that maybe still need a little extra love. Noticing any difference in your body, in your emotions, in your thoughts. With your breath, bringing that little bit of extra calm and relaxation into your body. Perhaps closing your eyes. Listening to the sounds outside of your body. Perhaps if you're in a silent space, you'll notice sounds you've never noticed before, which is always quite interesting. Perhaps exploring those with some curiosity. And then perhaps focusing internally, noticing any sounds, vibrations, sensations occurring on the inside of your body. Again, if you're in a very silent place, you might hear your body. Just exploring that with some curiosity. And as feelings, emotions, thoughts arise, don't resist them, just allow them to be floating around in your internal landscape. Allowing them to be there, to come and go as they please. Knowing that when the time is up, I'll bring you comfortably back to your room and close the session. So know that you can rest here comfortably in your savasana position. Nowhere to go, nowhere to be, nothing to do. Just your time. Start by deepening your breath, bringing yourself back into your physical body, breathing perhaps deep into your belly. Wiggling your toes and your fingers, maybe tapping your knees against the mat. Waking your body up. Maybe shaking your head from side to side. Rolling over to one side. And pausing for a moment. And then when you're ready, pushing yourself back up to seated. to close our session today. Doing yoga from my house is sometimes difficult, so while I was in Shavasana, I was listening to my children, and I hope you all couldn't hear that, but if you could, I'm sorry. As I always say to the kids, our students, it's a practice in mindfulness. It's an opportunity to practice mindfulness, so I'm sorry if that disrupted your Shavasana, but we do the best we can. Anyway, I am really grateful for all of you. Thank you for all the hard work you do, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and that you all take care of yourselves. So thank you again for joining me. Namaste.